I wanted to get back to making some of my For Beginners series. So with that in mind, what I thought I'd do was I'd take a look at how you would get FreeBSD up and running on a Windows machine. Everything we need is built into Windows 10 and 11. I don't know if this is a limitation of Pro or whether you can do this on home. I've got Pro installed. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Hyper-V. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through setting up Hyper-V, getting it installed, download the ISO, run through the installer. Let's get on with it. So as you can see, I've got a bog standard Windows 11 install here with no Hyper-V installed. So let's get that installed first. Now there are more than one way to do this, but I'm just going to do it this way. You can do it with PowerShell, you can do it with umpteen amounts of scripts. It don't matter. Let's do it this way. It's quickest and easiest, and it's probably the way most people are familiar with. So we'll let it do that. You might need some coffee for this one because I think there's going to be portions of it where you're just sitting around. It's also worth noting that you will need a CPU that can handle virtualization. Pretty sure the one that's in this is just about capable. Okay, so restart now. As I said, few reboots, a lot of sitting around. It's also worth noting, Hyper-V isn't the only way to do this. You can use VirtualBox, you can use the other one, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. You can use VMware, it doesn't matter. Once it's installed and once you've got your VM set up, it's pretty much the same on any platform after that. So let's check out and see what happens. There we go. That's the name of this computer. I haven't named it anything special. So let's take a quick look at our Hyper-V switch manager. I'm going to create a new one for this. It's just the way I was brought up in industry. You don't have to. You can use the default one, but I like to create a new one. So what you'll find is it will create a new network adapter. Oh, probably change it to the right network adapter, shall we? There we go. So this PC has two network adapters. It's got a Wi-Fi adapter, which is the dual band AC 3165, and it's got the Ethernet. We're using Ethernet in this case. So if I look at my network, where is it? Networking and sharing, probably see there you go. So what we got is we've got the Wi-Fi not connected. We've got the normal Ethernet, which is the second one. And then you've got the V Ethernet, which is SW01. That's the virtual switch I just created. That's actually now what's acting as our NIC. Anyway, moving along. So let's download the ISO for FreeBSD. That's better. Right, so let's go to FreeBSD's website. Let's download FreeBSD. So click on the download FreeBSD yellow button and you've got your choice. You can choose the release, or you can choose stable, or you can choose current. I'm just going to get the release. Now, you will notice here that there is installers, VMs, and SD cards if you really want to go that route. But that's more for Pi-based systems and tiny little credit card size computers. We're not going to touch that today. I like to do it using the installer. So we'll download the installer, DVD ISO. Shouldn't take too long. There we go, 1 minute. I'm not going to run through setting up Hyper-V too much and how you should lay things out and all of that. This is just about getting it up and running. Where you put files and stuff, that's entirely down to you. So while that's doing that, let's create our VM. In Hyper-V Manager on desktop hyphen, that's the name of the computer, Let's click on New Virtual Machine, and you'll get a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And let's call this FreeBSD 13 Release. You don't have to call it that. You can call it whatever you like. As long as it's identifiable to you, you can call it by the name of the host that you're going to make this. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to leave it in its default locations for now. On my production machines, I like to store it all in the same place. But for now, let's just leave that there. You've got a choice. Do you want it a UEFI booting guest, or do you want it as a legacy booting guest? There's basically what this is. There's a few other differences. We're just going to go with generation 2, which is UEFI. You can't change this once you've created it. Memory. How much memory do you want on it? I'm going to go 8192. So that's half the system memory in this computer. I hate using dynamic memory, so I'm going to turn that off. Don't have to. You can use it if you want. Play around, see what works best for you. Networking, let's put it on SW01, and then where you want your disks to be and what size. Now, I'm just going to leave all this as default at the moment. Again, like I said, you can change all the locations, and you can actually set the locations so that it's the default. I'm not going to touch any of that right now. Install from an operating system, from an ISO. So let's go to downloads. There's my FreeBSD disk there. Click next and then click finish, and it will create it. So it will create the disks and it will create everything. Because this isn't Windows, there's no secure boot. So we're going to have to make a quick change to this. So let's right click the virtual machine, go to settings. That's what we want. And then secure boot, turn that off. We don't need it. And then that should all be just how we want it. Click on OK. Actually, while we're there, there is one other thing I'm going to do, but only because I hate it warning me about this stuff. So let's turn off automatic checkpoints and enable checkpoints. There we go. Now, literally, I'm only doing this because I can't bother with that at the moment. You can turn that on and it works quite well if you want to use it. So what else that gives you there, I don't know if you saw that, was the ability to put notes in there as well. And you can put some notes in there. This is a standard FreeBSD 13 release install. This becomes quite handy if you want to use checkpoints. You label your checkpoint and you can put notes in your checkpoint, and it does help. All right, so let's connect to it and let's turn it on, shall we? See what happens. There we go. So this is just a standard FreeBSD install. Now, like I said, there are images for virtual machines, but we're not going to do that. I like to do this my way. So let's choose our language. FreeBSD guest, that's the host name. You don't have to use that. Use whatever you like. If it fits in with your network scheming, that's perfect for you. Pick the options that you want. I'd usually turn the debugging kernel off. Don't really need it. And recently, I've stopped installing the ports and the source because you can check it out with Git anyway. Test suite, why not? And then the default of a ZFS setup, that's how I like to do it. And then change this to what is right for you. Now, I'm going to go GPT and UEFI only. You can set it so that it installs both, but I don't like to do that. I like one or the other. So there's my GPT. And I like to go half of the system memory. I'm sure there's a proper way of doing swap, but I like to do that. Never really had any problems. If you're going to be installing massive packages and compiling massive pieces of software, you might want to have more swap if you don't have system memory, but that's down to you. So there's our Microsoft Virtual Disk. Going to install to that. Yes. It shouldn't take too long because there's hardly anything being extracted and installed. Really don't like this keyboard. It's a Dell keyboard. Set a root password. This is all normal FreeBSD setup. We've gone through setting up FreeBSD before, installing and setting up. So this is just a quick run through. Choose your time zone. We're in Europe and we're in the United Kingdom. You might not be. And then check the options that you want. Now, I generally turn off dump dev. I don't know really why I do it, but I do. Disable send mail, and that's pretty old. Disable dtrace as well. We're not going to bother with that at the moment. And that's it. Reboot. So once it starts rebooting, let's remove the DVD media. So media, DVD drive, and eject. So there we go. there's our FreeBSD operating system installed. Let's log in and quickly install a package, and that'll wrap it up. There we go. We're at the login prompt. Let's log in as root. With the password, we set install. There you go. FreeBSD guest. Package, install, Pico Alpine. We'll leave it at that for now. That's all I'm going to install on this one. And then you can go off and do whatever you want to do in this VM. Nice and simple one this time. Like I said, getting back to FreeBSD for beginners, if you have a Windows desktop, this is the ideal way to start learning FreeBSD. Set it up as a virtual guest, virtual machine. Why not? There we go. That's the package I just installed. All done and dusted. Straightforward. Hopefully you found that useful. And I know a lot of my viewers, this will be very much a beginner thing and they probably have no use for this. But hopefully there's beginners out there that find use in this. If you do, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe. There's more videos coming every week, and share them about. Why not? Let everybody see it. I don't mind. And just for the record, if people want to use snippets of my videos, I have no problem with that. If you want to do it, I don't mind. Not a problem. Don't forget, Discord server link in the description. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.